Hello, 大家好 and apa khabar semua? As usual, my name is Kelvin and you're tuning into another week of TWIG Mini, a segment where we bring you all the gaming highlights this week in gaming. And on the lineup this week, we have a lot of interesting news. Knowing that PlayStation 5 and Xbox has both came out this week itself, we'll be talking about Phasmophobia, Mass Effect's latest game, something about Capcom getting hacked, and so much more. So stay tuned, don't go anywhere, and let's get the show going. Starting with the first news of the week, we'll be talking about Phasmophobia, a game we all love to hate. Well, actually, we all love it here, but I just hate it because I just don't like horror. They will be having a new update, and this time around, the update will include new objective to make ghosts walk through salt. Dead players can now grab or throw objects around with exception of equipments being used. Well, now if you're dead, you don't just walk aimlessly. You can actually play around with your friends, throwing objects, scaring them. It's completely up to you. It's a really interesting update. And the highlight I want to bring up here is an introduction of a brand new ghost which actually crawls on all four limbs. I think, what was it called again in Indonesian? Yeah, it's called Suster Nyesot, and you will see the picture here. It's actually quite creepy. Joe the intern has actually brought up a very interesting news where we hope to see more introduction of ghosts, ghosts that actually climbs on ceilings, ghosts that actually pops out in your face. And I personally, as much as I'm scared, and I hate to say this, I like to see that feature too. But knowing Phasmophobia is a game by a solo developer, it's really amazing how far it has came, how much it has captured the attention of a lot of gamers out there. So props to you, my guy. Next up on the news, we have Capcom being hacked. This time around, it's actually an organization called Egregor, which stole 1 terabyte worth of information. But Capcom has came up publicly and said that no personal information has been stolen. It's all company files. We were having a joke on the podcast earlier saying that who has a Capcom account? When was the last time you remember registering for a Capcom account? So I believe, personally, we here believe that none of your private data has been stolen because, again, who signs up for a Capcom account? Moving on, we have Byebye coming out with the latest announcement of the next Mass Effect Trilogy remastered. That's right, you heard it right. If you're a fan of Mass Effect 1, 2, 3, Shepard, Garrus, I forgot their names, but if you're a fan of Mass Effect, they are coming out with a brand new remaster for next-gen consoles such as the PlayStation 5, the Xbox Series S and X, and also for PC. No news about Nintendo, but don't put your hopes up on that. So according to BioWare, and I quote, "It's tough keeping a big secret and we really struggled to keep this one a surprise, but now it's official. Today we announced the Mass Effect Legendary Edition. We heard for years your request for Mass Effect Remaster, so we're super happy to finally reveal that we've been working on a remastered edition to the Mass Effect Trilogy." That is from Casey Hudson, the Vice President of BioWare. And besides that, we have another good news for you guys. BioWare has been secretly building the next arc of the Mass Effect trilogy or the Mass Effect universe. We don't know much about it because they have came out and said that, and I quote, "We are in early stages of the project and can't say any more just yet, but we're looking forward to sharing our visions for when we'll be going next." So if you're a Mass Effect fan, this is definitely great news because when was the last time you heard a Mass Effect game coming out? We all know that there's only Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3, and the fourth one, no one talks about it. We don't acknowledge its existence. And it doesn't exist, okay? So it's just Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3. The Mass Effect Remastered Edition will be coming out in spring 2021, and hopefully there won't be any more delays because I personally am a huge fan of Mass Effect because of Jeff, and I really look forward to the Remastered Edition. What about you guys? Tell me in the comments below. And on the news of Phil Spencer, the whole Xbox thing, he has came out with an interview saying that he has personally played and tried the Elden Ring series. And if you guys don't know what the Elden Ring series is, actually by legendary game creator Miyazaki, who is also the same creator of Demon Souls, Bloodborne, the Souls series, and what we now know as a genre, the Souls series genre. It's a series of really difficult games where you play as a single player, you go through all this super crazy boss fights, and when you start the game, it just sets the difficulty at 11. You know, it's a hard game, it's a hard series. The Elden Ring series was first announced a couple of years ago, but it was just a rumor back then, and after a couple of years, there's just no news about it until this week. Phil Spencer has came out and said, "I can't tell you much other than as somebody who's played all the Miyazaki games over at least the last decade, this is clearly the most ambitious game that he's done," he being Miyazaki. And I requote, "I mean, I love his games, but seeing some of the gameplay mechanic stuff that he and the team are tackling this time, working with another creator in terms of story, I love it. I love seeing him challenging himself. He's a good friend of mine, expanding his horizons. I think it's a good thing." So for all the Souls fan out there, well, we have something else to look forward to. Personally, I haven't been playing a lot of Souls games because it's just so freaking hard. Afik, you mentioned that you played Bloodborne, right?
Yeah.
But you didn't finish it yet, right?
No.
Why?
Tough game.
Alright, so there you go. If you are a Souls player, you know how tough it is. If you're looking forward to Elden Ring, please tell me what are you looking forward most in the comments below. And on the last segment of the news this week, we'll be talking about the PlayStation 5 and Xbox highlight, because it was released yesterday of this recording and everyone has came out and shared their opinions and thoughts about it, and I just want to highlight a few things. The first thing I want to highlight on the whole PlayStation 5 thing is the unique feature where it will actually remove the developer and publisher startup screen. So if you don't know what the startup screen is when you start up a game, there's always all these short clips of 2K games, EA Sports, or all this developer logo itself. But if you're on the PlayStation 5, you just gotta see that screen one time. The console will automatically recognize all this startup screen, and the second time you fire up the game, it will completely be eliminated, saving you so much time. But it was reported that this has only been seen in AAA title exclusive games. We don't know how it would look like for AA or single A games, if that's even a thing. What I'm trying to say here is, if you're not playing a PlayStation 5 exclusive game, we don't know if the startup screen will still be there or not. Moving on to the next highlight, PlayStation will not be supporting 1440p monitors. Sony has came out and said that they are doing this in support of people playing the console with a television screen. But if you are playing on a monitor like Joe here, running on 1440, 165 Hz, right? 165. What an upgrade. So if you're like Joe, a console player who is playing on a PC monitor, don't be down by this news, because Sony has came out to say even if there's not supported for 1440p monitors, with enough demand, they will run a patch that will eventually support these kind of monitors. Last but not least, on the PlayStation 5 news, PSVR might be coming out with a 2.0 version, because we have seen Star Wars Squadrons, we have seen Half-Life Alyx, basically games that encourage players to play it on VR. But the last VR that came out on the PlayStation 4 was actually years ago. Personally, I don't know if they have been updated to the recent PlayStation 5 or next gen console, but PlayStation has came out and said this, and I quote, "Like to expect the PlayStation 5 to have a VR experience that is appropriate to the PlayStation 5. And again, with all this developer news coming out, it's as vague as day. We don't know what it really means, but this is my takeaway of it. First things, they will either patch the PlayStation VR set to support current gen console and games, or the second thing, are they hinting on a PSVR 2.0? Because again, referencing back to Half-Life Alyx and also Star Wars Squadrons, it's really games for next gen. And with next gen and new era consoles coming out like the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X and S, we might see an updated or upgraded version of the PlayStation VR set. So again, take it with a grain of salt. We don't know if this is true. It's all my opinion only. But I would really like to know what you think about it. So again, comment below. Moving on to the Xbox news, well, it's not really news, but there's a clip out there where a user was blowing vape smoke into his Xbox Series X console, and it was so ridiculous to the point that Xbox has to come out and tweet, "We can't believe we have to say this, but please do not blow vape smoke into your Xbox Series X." Well, how is that news? I don't really know, but I just find it really funny that they have to come out and blatantly tell you that do not blow smoke into your console. And on a lighter news, Xbox Phil Spencer has came out and said that this is the best year ever for the Xbox Series X and S and Microsoft as a whole. Why? because this time around the launch has been the best I've ever seen in Microsoft history. Just to give you a comparison, the Xbox One sold 1 million copy on launch day itself, but looking at what they're saying here, Phil Spencer did say that in 24 hours, more new consoles sold in more countries than ever before. So does this mean that the Xbox Series X and S has sold more than 1 million copies? Well, personally, I think so. With the whole hype of next-gen console, with the war going on with Xbox and PlayStation, I'm really happy for them. You know, I'm not really a fan. I haven't touched a Xbox console in the longest time, but looking at this, it really means good news for them. But there is an underlying news there, because they have said that the Xbox One has sold more than 1 million units, and Phil Spencer has also came out and said, we're not driven by how many consoles we sell. So what I read out of that is a bit of a corporate-y kind of news, because more Xbox units sold equivalent to more online subscription. More online subscription means that there are more people buying into the Xbox Game Pass. So if you're an Xbox console user, well, I'm happy for you, because the Game Pass has been a really great thing for the whole Microsoft ecosystem. You guys get almost 500 games if you're subscribed to the Game Pass. There's so many more games coming out in the future, and if you are buying the next gen console, please tell us in the comment below if you're getting a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox. And that's all the time we have for you guys today. We talked about Phasmophobia's latest update, Capcom getting hacked, Xbox, PlayStation 5, and so much more. So please tell me in the comments below if you're looking forward to Mass Effect, or what kind of console you're getting. Are you a fan of Phasmophobia? What kind of ghost you want to see in Phasmophobia? Everything that you want to tell me, comments below. I'll reply to every single one of them. That's all the time we have for you guys. As usual, I'm your host Kelvin Tay, and with me in the studio we have Joe, Afiq behind the camera, and myself, Kelvin Tay. So don't forget to follow our podcast. We do it on a weekly and hour-long of breakdown of whatever we talked about on the Mini itself. You can find it on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast from. Don't forget to follow our Instagram at Epic Arcade Pod. That's where we're most active. Follow us there to get your daily fix of gaming news. Till then, see you.